Hey everybody, Steve back here again. So I put a little note on the community tab there on the channel that I'd tested positive for COVID. So I've been at home in my apartment now. I feel fine. I just got a little bit of sniffles. That's all. Aches are gone. I had a little bit of aches and all, and I'll talk about that later. I but I am, for lack of a better word, stuck in my apartment now because you're supposed to self-quarantine, and so I'm stuck here for the next 10 days. So I looks like I'll get to try out that Ritter Zombie Apocalypse diet. Probably not, but anyway, I did, when I was feeling poorly, I did think ahead a little bit, which I normally don't do, but I went to the grocery store and picked me up a bunch of stuff. One of the things caught my eye. I'm going to try now. I'm going to get old Crock-a-pot Dundee back out, and I'm going to try some. Now, the Ravishing Mrs. Ritter gets on me a lot, says I don't eat enough vegetables. And what better way to eat vegetables than breaded and fried, right? Am I right? Well, no, I'm not going to do that. But I am going to cook some cauliflower in a crock pot. I am going to cook it with cheese. So about a half step down from unhealthy breaded fried, but you know, cheese is good for you, right? So let me flip the camera around. And we'll get started here. So stand by. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do, I bought some Polish kielbasa. Now it's not all vegetable. I do need some protein in there, so I just got a big thing of Polish kielbasa. Cut them up in little half-inch, three-quarter-inch slices or so, and you know, if this is already cooked, you could just toss it in there and it would cook up fine and heat up fine and all that. I want to brown it a little bit just to give it some extra flavor. So I'm going to brown it here with a little bit of olive oil and get my old copper handled special here, and I'm just going to brown this up for a little bit on medium high heat here. And while this is browning up, let's shift around now. We'll cut up the cauliflower. So be ready. All right, back again. So I got myself a head of cauliflower here, and I'm just gonna kind of look it over. I kind of washed it off, and then I'm just gonna look for, sometimes you get these little black spots here. Just kind of cut those off. Now, if you had told me when I was a kid that I'd be making this one day, I wouldn't have believed you, because cauliflower was, man, I wouldn't have touched that with a 10-foot pole. I don't know why. I guess it's kind of like meatloaf. The name just didn't sound good to me. So I'm just kind of cut the black spots off. And I never even messed with it at all. And I worked, my first job, I was a busboy at a kind of an upscale Italian restaurant in Columbia, South Carolina. And so that was my first job. And I used to have to go in early on the weekends, and we would have to do prep work. And one of their side items that they would serve with their food was broccoli and cauliflower, and it was probably blanched, but they would pour a little bit of like Alfredo sauce over the top of it, and a little bit of Parmesan cheese on it. And of course, I'd be working. I'd be getting so hungry, and some people. Now, this may sound disgusting, but some people wouldn't touch their food. And of course, I'm a dumb teenager. I got to where I'd see that, and people wouldn't touch it. It was obvious they didn't touch it and eat it, obviously. I'd go and get it, and I'd take it back the back, and I'd eat it. And I was so hungry that you know, I'm eating other people's food. But that's the first time I really tried cauliflower, and I liked it, you know. And obviously, of course, it had a Alfredo. So I want to cut these up into little florets, which is French for, I don't know, little trees, little pieces. Basically, you know, what do you think you can bite and eat, I guess. Just kind of cut them. And then when I was, you know, I'd also kind of just look at them. They look like little trees, and I always just kind of imagine, you know, it's kind of, it's like being King Kong or something eating trees. I don't know. Anyway, that's my cauliflower story. That's pretty weak. That's not a very good cauliflower story. But yeah, I tell people that. I used to tell my kids that. I'm like, man, you know, I get really hungry. And they thought that was pretty nasty, and I'm sure you all probably do too. Probably think less of me now. But man, when you're a teenage boy and you're hungry, you know, I didn't want to eat the stuff that before it went out, you know, because that's like stealing, you know. So anyway, in fact, I think the boss came back one time and said, "What are you doing? You're eating the food." And I'm like, "This has already gone out and it's come back." And he was like, "You're eating food from people's tables?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm hungry." Nothing wrong with it. They didn't touch it. And he's like, that's probably why my immune system's so strong. I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, so I'm going to finish cutting these up into pieces, and we'll be right back. Sounds like. All right, cauliflower's all cut up. Now I'm going to dice myself up a onion, Bella. I'm using a purple onion. Now these things are well, these grumpy onions, man. These things just kind of take over. They're pretty strong. These purple onions, I like them. Do love onion flavor and all that. So I'm gonna dice these onions up. That's gonna go in. So just nice and cut them up and dice them up. So we had reports that there was another Houthi drone strike. They sent 3 drones over, and from what I read, sounds like the Emiratis intercepted those things way outside of town this time. But yeah, the drone strike we had a couple of weeks ago actually killed a guy. They have to be careful what I say, because they're being real particular. They've actually gone after some of the people that posted some of the videos of the missiles going up, taking out, you know, other missiles. Anyway, no, they actually killed a young guy, a Sikh, who had just got married 10 months ago. They showing his widow on the TV and all, and it's just kind of pretty sad to think about that poor guy, his wife's poor wife, what she's gonna do. Anyway, so just I'll finish dicing this up, and I'll be right back with the rest of the ingredients. All right, now, so what I did, I took a pack of cream of chicken soup. Now I couldn't find a can of cream of chicken soup, so I got this dry stuff, and I got some chicken broth. So I used about 1.5 cups of chicken broth, and I mixed it with 1 pack of cream of chicken soup. And I'm just kind of stirring that up. Look at this. I'm using my tools now. All right, and then to that I'm going to add, I've got 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and then this is optional, but I've got it, and I need to use it. And I hear this is pretty good when you're feeling poorly also, is ground turmeric. And I'm going to go with 1/4 teaspoon of that. Make sure I get all this out of here. I'm going to add this in. So I'm just kind of saving myself some steps instead of just kind of sprinkling it over the top. I'm going to mix it with my sauce here. Okay, now to that, I'm gonna add half a cup, which I think there's 2 cups in this little 8-ounce bag, and I'm gonna go with, so about half this bag of mozzarella cheese. Which, speaking of that Italian restaurant, I don't know if I told this story or not, but I'd go in the summertime, and that was a big part of the job, was prep. So I'd go in probably, you know, the restaurant opened at 7. I'd go in at like 4 and start prep. So I'd have to cut up stuff and everything else. But that was, I'd go down into the walk-in freezer down there and have to tenderize cutlets and things like that. While I was in there, there was always a big bust pan tub of grated, shredded mozzarella cheese. And I used to reach my hand in there, my clean hand, thank you, and eat some mozzarella cheese. So, you know, the Bible says about not muzzling the oxen while they work, right? So, yeah, that oxen was eating the cheese, man. Anyway, so I'm going to kind of mix this around in real good. And this is going to go over top of my cauliflower and onions and meat and all that. So kind of mix that around real good. I'm going to flip the camera around. We're going to put all this together and turn it on. So stand by one. All right, back again. So there's Arlene feeling a little left out, but she got plenty of work. So we're giving her a little bit of a break. So what I'm going to do, I got the crock pot kind of warming up, and I'm going to just kind of start adding this in now. So I've got my cauliflower, and I think that, let's see, that was a big old head of cauliflower. See how this works. I'm going to just kind of layer it a little bit. There's some there. Let's go with a little bit of meat. So this kielbasa. Now you don't have to add meat. I actually, honestly, as I walk around and shop a lot of times, I'll pass stuff. Drives Arlene crazy because she hates it when I go grocery shopping because I'm always going, oh, that sounds pretty good. Let's try some of that. And she's like, what did you bring home? What is this? I didn't send you for this. I'm like, well, but this, I can do this with this and that. It drives her crazy. It makes me laugh though. So I was walking through the grocery store and I saw that kielbasa and I was like, that'd be good. That'd really make it savory, right? I'm all about savory. All right. So now we're going to add switch my hands here so you can see. I'm going to just pour a little bit of this juice on here and kind of the cheese mixture. Let's pour some of this on. Might have been easier to just do the cheese separately. That's good for now. All right, we'll see if we can't get the rest of the cauliflower in there. I think this will fit. Yeah. Get my veggies. Now again, as this cooks, it should cook the water out of it. And and I'm going to cook this on high. We'll check it in 2 hours. I think 2 hours is probably going to be good. So we'll go ahead and get the rest of this kielbasa in here. Don't want to miss out on that. Smelled like bologna frying. Bologna, that's like the filet mignon of the South. All right, here we go. And then I'm going to add the rest of it here. So I appreciate all the prayers and everything. I really am feeling fine. You can probably hear my sinuses a little bit. It's a little bit of, got a deep Johnny Cash baritone going on here. All right, so that goes over the top. One last check here, make sure I didn't miss anything. Chicken broth, yep, Got that, got that, good. All right, goes on high, top goes on. Crock-a-pot, do your thing. And we'll check back here in a couple hours. I'm gonna put it on high and let him do his magic. So we'll be, all right, back again. So just a little bit over 2 hours. Let's see how we're doing here. Can't keep from steaming up the bone. Now, at about an hour, I did kind of stir it up a little bit. I kind of turned it over, but you could see a lot more liquid. A lot of the liquid in the cauliflower cooked out. The orange color, I'm guessing, is probably the turmeric cooking through there. But ooh, yeah. Now I like. I'm glad I added some meat in there, but I'm gonna go ahead and plate myself up a little bit of this because I'm getting hungry. Right. So here we go. Here it is. Now the sauce has got a nice, thick, kind of cheesy casserole to it, which is kind of nice. It's not liquidy. So that, I guess it's that cheese that melted that kind of mixed in with the water coming off. Try it here. So, but it's got a nice nice color to it. You know, the turmeric kind of got in with it, and you know, it has a nice kind of a yellowy color to it. You taste the cheese. Of course, the cauliflower, it's not mushy. It's got a nice kind of a, but it's soft, you know. Just holding together. That's tasty. And of course, it's got the little bit of the kielbasa taste through it as well. Yeah, this is tasty. And it's hot. Well, feeling a whole lot better. Like I said, cooking for myself now, and so I just wanted something a little different than a sandwich. So all's well. Everything's fine here, and thanks for watching. And this is Colonel saying over and out.